Hey everybody, Derek here to bring another video for Z Nation Season 3. And what I want to do with this video is review the most recent episode of Z Nation, which was called A New Mission. If you are not caught up with Z Nation and you do not want to be spoiled in any way, then I would exit the video now and come back later, because otherwise you will be spoiled. Okay. So it was nice for Z Nation to finally pick up from where we left off. It was nice to see some new developments with the plot, to kind of get back to the current timeline. While the movie was a great introduction for the man, I didn't really feel like it did much else for the plot. So it's nice to get back to what we were left off with and to see what exactly is going to happen and how the show is going to change. And I think A New Mission was very appropriate for a title, because that's pretty much what this episode introduced for almost every character. The idea that this is a new mission, this is a new season, it kind of reinvents the plot a little bit, and I'm very, very interested to see where it goes. Now, obviously, where we left off in the Season 2 finale, we had a couple different things going on with the characters. We had Warren's group get kidnapped, or, well, taken prisoner, I guess is more of an appropriate term. They were taken prisoner by the Chinese forces that came over. We have Murphy, who, of course, sunk the submarine and left on this little boat with Dr. Murch, the submarine captain. He had bitten them on the cheek, possessing them, as well as two other soldiers. 10,000 is missing. We don't know where he went. And Citizen Z is somewhere, up in the frozen part of the world, and he's pretty much suffering from hypothermia. He was nearly frozen solid, and somebody comes and rescues him. And this episode really resolved all of those stories. The only thing we don't know is, what is Vasquez doing? He did not appear. His name, the actor, Matt Cedeno, is not actually in the opening credits in this episode. I don't know if that's really too concerning, because sometimes they don't put characters in if they're not in the episode. So I think that he is going to be reintroduced somewhere down the line. But they have done that before, where a character didn't appear in an episode and they didn't credit them, because when Mac and Addie had their solo episodes, they didn't credit anybody else. So going back to the story, so the Chinese introduce themselves to Warren's group. They're not really trusting at first. They do take them prisoner. In fact, there was a scene where Warren's group tries to, take their weapons and take back control. And while Warren and Addie are successful, unfortunately, Doc and Scorpion are not able to get the weapons away. So the attempt failed. And as they travel along, we come to find what the Chinese mission is. We are introduced to a new character named Dr. Sun. She is a scientist. She is a doctor. And her group came from Beijing. And their mission is to find Murphy and get his blood so that they can make a vaccine. Obviously, it does not surprise me that there are other forces, other entities out there in the world, whether it be nations, former nations, Zona. Obviously, there were more groups out there than just Warren's group. So we come to find out that that's why she was sent over there. There was an aircraft carrier sent over, and they are going to be dropping supplies for Dr. Sun to use, because Dr. Sun has been one of the individuals that has been working on the cure, but they've been unsuccessful just like everybody else. So the group travels along with them, and they come to trust each other, through just bonding and seeing what each other is feeling, as well as the fact that they can fight. I mean, Warren's group has fought through a lot of things. I think Dr. Sun saw that, and they decided to work together. And in fact, they created weapons that were specialized for Warren's group, because they have been following them along. It's been revealed that they have been following along the progress of Operation Bite Mark, and they know who these people are. So they form this trust, the idea that they're going to find Murphy, they're going to get him to help the Chinese, and the Chinese will make the vaccine, and the hope is that they will help everybody. Well, their mission to get the equipment is kind of hindered by a couple of different forces. Number one, we have a human group that they refer to as Enders in this episode, and the Enders are very you know, like their brains have basically been fried. In a sense, they no longer think like rational humans. They've almost, in a sense, become like instinctual animals that they hunt, they kill, they survive. That's pretty much all they do. And in this episode, that was pretty much what they were doing. They were running for the supplies to try to get things because obviously they're suffering. And we see that they were battling throughout the episode with the group. And at the very end, they end up getting to the equipment. And when they get there, they end up being attacked. And unfortunately, the other Chinese soldiers were killed during this battle. So only Dr. Sun is left from that mission and from her group. So we get to that point with them. And then we also have Murphy. What he does, he eventually meets up with the group at the end of the episode. But what ends up happening with Murphy is Murphy gets onto the shore, and of course, he's bitten, you know, all those people that were on the sub, so he has control over them. And he basically gets them together, and they get on some vehicles, and they start to travel to some destination. And it is revealed that 10,000 is alive. Apparently, he was just laying in the bottom of the boat. So no amazing escape. It's just that he was hidden in a way that the group could not see him with the binoculars. And that's understandable. You know, the boat's probably moving fast. 10K was down in there. And, you know, we see that 10,000 does not want to travel with Murphy. You know, throughout the episode, he's very upset, you know, that he's with Murphy. He says, I don't want to go with you. I don't want anything to do with you. But we find that he's doing things that are counteractive to his will. You know, when Murphy tells him to do something, he does it. And, of course, along the episode, you start to think, oh, geez, did something happen to 10,000? Because obviously Murphy's able to control people, and it does appear that he has the ability to control 10,000 now. So throughout the episode, you get little hints of that because Murphy is basically telling 10,000 to do things. And as when 10,000 tries to get away, he's basically willed back to Murphy because Murphy brings him back. And it is revealed at the end of the episode that Murphy did bite 10,000 on the back of his neck. We did see the bite mark, and that allows Murphy to control 10,000. Now, whether 10,000 is starting to become more under the control of Murphy as time goes on, I'm not sure. That's something that I definitely hope that they explore throughout this season, because obviously we've always been wanting to know what kind of powers Murphy has over people. How strong are they? Are they permanent? What exactly happens when Murphy bites people? And it's also significant, I have to wonder, the fact that Murphy did not bite 10,000 on the cheek. He bit him on the back of the neck. And it makes me wonder, does that have a different kind of an impact for a person versus him biting them on the shoulder, biting them on the arm, biting them on the cheek? Like, what is there a difference, I guess? And I hope they explore that a little bit. But a very significant development with 10,000's character is that he stopped counting. And whether that's because Murphy has willed him not to do that anymore, whether that's his own decision, whether it's just a lot of different things, 10,000 is not counting his zombie kills anymore, because he kills 2 zombies in the episode and he doesn't count them. He doesn't say, you know, 6,702 or nothing like that. He doesn't say a number. He just kills them when Murphy tells him to mercy the zombies. So that was a very big development, and I have to wonder if that storyline really is over. I'm sure we'll find out in the coming episodes, but that was definitely very shocking to see. And as I've said in many of my videos before, Murphy's plan that was talked about in interviews is what is happening. Murphy's mission is to make blends. And he really sees this throughout the episode with the Enders and zombies, because in the episode, Murphy's group also runs into Enders and also runs into zombies. And the Enders, they end up killing the submarine captain, so he's dead. And Murphy basically acknowledges, like, yeah, look, it's humans that are starving, and they're basically, their brains are fried. They're at a point where they can't think anymore. And it's kind of unfortunate that it's kind of devolved into that for these humans. And you also have this idea of, well, look, zombies eat humans. That's just what happens. So they're getting killed off. And because of that, one of the most interesting developments of the whole episode was zombies were eating other zombies. Remember in the preview when there was like this big group of zombies that was like rolling down a hill together? I was wondering what that was. At first I thought that was the remnants of the cheese wheel that the group ran into. I thought maybe the cheese wheel would make a return, but no. That was actually a group of zombies that were eating each other. And that's basically what they were doing. Like, you saw clips of the zombies like tearing limbs off of the other zombies. And in fact, the two zombies that 10K killed were eating each other. And Murphy acknowledges, yeah, look, I mean, eventually the zombies are not going to have any food to eat because the humans are going to die off. And at this point, the zombies, they'll either eat each other or they will die of starvation. So again, his idea is to help bring about the rest of people and maybe zombies too, depending on what he's going to do, and allow them all to live. That basically the idea of blending them together is the only way that they are going to survive. So that's his mission. That's what he intends on doing. So when we get to the end of the episode, that's pretty much what we have. We have two different opposing groups that want different things. We've also found out what Citizen Z is up to. It turns out that Citizen Z was rescued by a woman named Kaya. And we see him, you know, he's in a room, he's on a bed on the floor on a mattress, and he wakes up next to Kaya and he's like, oh, hey, he's like, hey, this is cool, you know, I'm in a nice place. He notices that she's a woman. He hasn't had a lot of interaction with anybody. You know, Citizen Z has been up in that Northern Lights for the last 2 seasons, pretty much isolated, only having the dog and having group interactions, but that's, you know, over the monitors. He hasn't seen anybody, he hasn't touched anybody, he hasn't had a conversation with somebody in a very long time. So I think he really enjoyed this. I think he enjoyed being in that environment. And Kaya is living with her uncle and her nana. You know, they seem to be pretty, you know, decent people. You know, they seem to be nice. At this point, they seem to be harmless, kind of a little bit on the strange side. I mean, you know, the way Kaya was talking, the way that the two relatives interacted. In fact, she refers to the movie Misery, which, if you're familiar, the James Caan, Kathy Bates movie based on the Stephen King novel, where the writer is captured by the crazy woman. You know, we find out that Citizen Z, you know, is Kaya's, you know, biggest celebrity in a sense. You know, she really enjoys him. She's listened to him. She's one of his biggest fans, she said, and it's amazing that he's there. So I do have to wonder if Citizen Z will stay there for a while. You know, maybe he does enjoy the interaction a lot, and that's what he's going to do. Maybe he's going to, you know, set up a new base there. But on the other hand, he may be needed somewhere else. We may find that out. And if that's the case and he tries to leave, perhaps they might try to stop him. So I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. That'll be very interesting. But I thought it was a nice new development for him. And then we get near the end of the episode, and it turns out that Murphy has taken the vehicles and he's taken Dr. Sun's equipment, and he has Dr. Murch. So he has his own scientist that he has under his control, and Murphy basically tells you know, the group, listen, this is my mission. I'm going to create blends. Dr. Murch is going to help me do this, and this is my mission. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to save, you know, everybody, but I'm going to do it in my own way. So he pretty much doesn't care about the human race. It's not about saving the humans anymore. It's about just saving the world and saving everybody. But the group's not for that. They don't believe in, you know, creating these blends. They don't want to be blends. They want to be human. So now they have Dr. Sun, and of course Murphy does reveal to them that the CDC doesn't exist anymore, that the mission that they thought that they were doing for the government, you know, for what was left of the U.S. government, the CDC, that doesn't exist anymore. That really they were working on behalf of Zona, and they didn't realize it. So Warren finds this out, and basically is like, well, that kind of, you know, shoots our mission, you know, that nothing else to do. And Murphy does offer them a chance to come with him because the Enders are basically coming again to attack them. And Murphy, in a sense, says, look, get in the truck. You're part of my mission. You can do this. Warren says no. So at this point, Murphy and Murch go their separate ways. 10,000 makes himself known to the group that he's alive because he shoots a bullet to basically prevent Warren from shooting Murphy. She was holding a gun on him. Obviously, I don't think she was going to shoot him, but the group does know that 10K is alive, but I think they do fear the worst, and they basically just say at the end of the episode, look, we can't worry about him. We have to worry about this. So they do, in a sense, leave him to Murphy. And, of course, we do find out again that 10K is under the control of Murphy. And the group has their own mission. They basically say, look, we have a scientist. We have Dr. Sun. We have the ability to survive, the ability to fight. They say, look, this is our mission now. We have a new mission. We're going to save the human race. We're going to get Murphy. We're going to stop him from doing what he's doing. We're going to get his blood. We're going to get Dr. Sun back to her people, and we're going to figure this out. And they're doing the mission for themselves, not for a government, not for Zona, not for anybody, just for themselves. So that, in a sense, changes things. That is what their mission is. So they have a new mission. It's pretty exciting, and I like that it's for them, which I think gives them more motivation to continue forward. And a final note for the episode, right at the very end, guess who returned? You guessed it, our new villain, the Man. He comes across the bodies of the Enders and the zombies, from the fight throughout the episode, and it is revealed that he has a new name. So he also has a new mission. We know that the Man is given missions. He is, of course, a bounty hunter. His goal is to hunt them down. He opens up the list. One name is on it, and that name is Alvin Bernard Murphy. So he, of course, is now looking for Murphy as well. It's going to be a great season, I think. We're going to see a lot of different people looking for Murphy. We're going to see how things are going to go. And I think it's really great that he's thrown into the mix, and I cannot wait to see exactly what is going to happen. I think overall it was a good start. If I had to give this episode a rating out of 10, I would give it an 8.5. I think it did a very good job of introducing many of these plots. And I hope that as the season goes on, they do explore things a little bit. So with that, I'm going to bring this video to a close. I want to thank all of you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, don't be afraid to leave them. Feel free to subscribe. I do have more videos coming. And if you have any suggestions for future videos that you would like to see, don't be afraid to suggest them. I plan on doing a video on the Man. I plan on doing a video kind of analyzing 10K and Murphy's control over people, so I'm going to do that as well. And again, if you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I always appreciate it. Very glad Z Nation is picking up right where we left off, and I cannot wait to see what Season 3 has to offer us. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a very wonderful evening. Thank you.